The most commonly asked question in the comments below is, Mr. X, what do you do for a living to afford all these collectibles, all these vacations, everything you spend money on? And I find that question ludicrous for a few different reasons. We're going to talk about that today, and I'm also going to answer that question, and I'm also going to tell you how realistically you can too. But it's not what you think. No, this isn't a pyramid scheme or a cult. Hey, my name is Mr. X. Welcome to the Extreme Channel. We are giving away $1,000 statues to you guys. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey, thanks for tuning in today. I am tired of responding to the question, what do you do for a living? For a multitude of reasons. The first reason is, what do people expect the response to be? That I work for XYZ company and we're taking applications? We start at $500,000 a year salary? Life doesn't work that way. Do they expect it was an easy path? I've talked about in many videos where I remember my wife and I, our first year married 20 years ago, our joint income is less than I make in a month now. There is no magic answer to be successful in life when it comes to professionally, financially, and even personally in relationships. It's hard. And the truth is, so many people say, hey, if I could have the income you have, Mr. X, I would do what you do. But that is a lie. Because I've said this before, truth be told, I'll put in 60 to 80 hours a week, and I've been doing that for 15 plus years. Nowadays, you have people who won't even show up for work, let alone put in that kind of effort. However, with that being said, I think there are 10 keys to success in life when it comes to professionally and even financial success. Now, when I say financial success, that doesn't mean you have a yacht off the coast of Greece and you tweet on how bad your hardships are, but it means you don't have to live paycheck to paycheck, and maybe you can afford some stuff that are what most people would consider luxuries. Whether it's some cool high-end crap like the stuff behind me, neat vacations, sporting events, night out on the town, whatever that looks like. And not only could you do it for yourself, but you could do it for those family and friends that are closest to you. You know, I get criticized a lot. You have all this money and you don't do anything good with it. Well, it's none of your business what I do with my money. But I'll tell you guys that we follow Matthew chapter 6 in the Bible when it comes to money. Now, with that being said, let's dive into the 10 things that I can tell you that have greatly contributed to my success. Now, I'm going to give you a list of 10 things, and I will promise you, if you go do these 10 things, you will be successful like we just talked about. Again, it's not a pyramid scheme. I'm not going to ask you to send money, although you could if you wanted to, but that's probably a bad idea. Unless you're a member of the Extreme Channel. That's a good investment. Alright, so like the countdowns we've been doing of late, these are in no particular order. One's not more important than the other, but I've found that the people that succeed at work will embrace these, and a lot of them, the people who aren't succeeding, this is the reason they're not succeeding. First thing I'm going to tell you, at your job, wherever you go to make income, whether you're a volunteer, or you do it to support a family, or you do it just for spending money, there is a phrase that is commonly used in the workplace. It may not be said out loud all the time, but it's in people's head. You need to eliminate this phrase from your vocabulary. That phrase is, that is not my job. These people suck. When you are at your company, I don't care why you're there, to succeed, the company needs to succeed. And people that rely on this isn't my responsibility or my job, are a detriment to that company and to their own success. As you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about this. I worked somewhere once where I said, if you say that's not my job, you are fired. We are in this together. And to be quite frank, 90% of the stuff I do as a leader, no matter what company I'm with, would fall into that category. Most of my positions don't even exist unless I'm doing other people's job or something they missed. So eliminate that phrase, that is not my job. Number 2, I kind of hinted at it at the beginning. Show up. And not only show up, but on time is late to me. That doesn't mean you always have to come 20 minutes early. But in my life, I've probably been late less than 5 times, if that. And those are extreme circumstances, like I was driving somewhere and a train stopped for an hour blocking traffic, something of huge magnitude. I used to have these monthly meetings, and there was about 50 to 100 people in there, and people would always arrive late and they'd say, sorry, traffic. And I'd be standing in front of the room, yeah, the rest of us took a helicopter in. We had the same traffic and we got here on time. Recently, I was traveling actually a week before I was filming this, and people showed up late. People that lived 10 miles away. I was 1,000 miles away and I was on time. So show up, and show up on time. The amount of sick time some people take just blows my mind. In life, both personally and professionally, we fail. And I think failure is a fantastic thing. I think everybody, while I don't condone bullying, I think everyone should get beat up when they're a kid just so they know what it's like to lose. I think people should be part of a losing team. I think people should mess up. But the problem with our society today, especially in the place at work, so many people will blame someone else why they failed. Now, it very well may be true that is why they failed, because of somebody else, but don't blame them at work. Take ownership if you were responsible for the project or the task or whatever that was, and say what you're gonna do to fix it in the future. I will tell you this, if you wanna move up the ladder, people don't like excuses, even if they're legitimate. Figure out how you're going to fix it in the future and communicate that. But don't blame others for failures. Figure out what you're gonna do to make it right. I've said this in many videos because it's my favorite quote. From Randy Pausch, the last lecture, brick walls are there for a reason. They're there to show you how bad you want it. They're there to keep other people out. And the truth between winners and losers in this world is all of them have some type of brick walls at different times. Sometimes those brick walls are because you made a mistake. Sometimes somebody else made a mistake. Sometimes it's because life sucks. The losers say, the reason I'm failing is because of this brick wall. The winners say, this sucks, I have a brick wall. I'm gonna figure out how to work harder or smarter to get around this brick wall. Always learn more. You have no idea about your company, about your industry, about leadership. Always learn more and try and better yourself. If you are not reading some type of book to advance yourself, whether it's industry specific or a personal growth book, and you have lofty goals, then you are going to fail. I can tell you that right now. A key to continue moving up, and moving up doesn't necessarily mean promoted. There's people that work for me that are on the front end that make $250,000 a year. And these are people with these lofty goals that do not give up. The next one, this obviously isn't for me, you've heard it before, but dress for the job you want. It's crazy to me when people show up to a meeting and they're in shorts or something of that nature. Now, granted, I don't like to wear a tie every day. I rarely do it. I wear button-ups, I wear polos. Because yes, we like to be comfortable, but no matter what, people are always watching you. Dress for success, dress for the job you want. This one applies to a leader, but it also works for a coworker. Sometimes you have people who are subpar at your job. Sometimes you can help them improve. Sometimes they choose not to improve. And every leader and coworker that I've had that has someone in their life like that or at their job, they give too much hope to that person. You have to cut them loose. Some people just choose not to improve. And every great leader I know has held on to people for too long. Sometimes it's actually cost them their job. While you want to build people up around you, know that some people will not try. Take risks. You have got to take risks. Now, let me be specific. Don't do anything unethical or take some of your company's money and launder it to try and make some money. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about do legal, moral things, but take risks. That may be switching careers. That may be investing in a big project. That may be putting your job on the line to see if a project or a process works. But you have got to take risks. If you just sit back and let things happen, not only will other people surpass you, but the competition will surpass you. Every great company had to take risks to get where they had to be, and that applies to you as an employee as well. Be loyal and respect that chain of command. Now, really quick, when I say be loyal, if you have a truly unethical company, I'm not talking about them. But it's amazing to me how many people are with a company for a long period of time. The company takes great care of them, and then for some reason, whether they're currently employed or they just left, they start to hate that company and bash the hell out of it. Companies you're with for a long time, for the most part, give you a lot. Now, granted, you give them just as much, if not more, depending on your work ethic, but you need to be loyal. And along with that, respect the chain of command. You may not like your boss or your boss's boss, but they are there for a reason for the most part. And I'm not saying there's bad leaders out there. I've been very fortunate where most of my career, almost everywhere I've been, I've had a great leader. I have a great leader right now. But follow the chain of command and be loyal to that company. There is no ceiling. This is a common misconception. You don't know how many times I will roll out a possibility to somebody and they instantly, that can't be done. Can't get there. I think that's bullshit. I'll tell you this right now. 20 years ago, I worked my ass off. So did my wife. And if you sat down with us and said, hey, in 15 years, the amount of money you made all of last year, Mrs. X, you're not even going to be working. Mr. X, you're going to be smart enough. You're still going to work your ass off, but you're going to make that kind of money in 2 to 3 weeks. I would say, get the hell out of here. There is no ceiling, and that applies with what you can do at work. Whether it's an area you're responsible for, maybe you're part of a department, whatever goals you guys have, you can reach higher than that. There is no ceiling. I always tell my employees there's 4 levels. Level number 1 is you do just enough to keep your job. That's a horrible level to hit. Level number 2 is you hit the company goals, whatever goals the company put out for you. Level 3, you hit your personal goals, which should be higher than the company's goals. Maybe they're related to your income, maybe they're not. Level 4 is higher, more. Level 4 is always what we're striving for. Some of my employees hate it because they do amazing and I try and push them for more because I know we can get more. Then the last one, and this is a big one.
That's what she said.
While this wasn't in order, I'd say the huge differentiating factor here, there are no 8-hour shifts. Yes, it is your choice to go off and do your personal stuff after work, but the people I see that excel are people who are always intertwined. So in my company, a lot of managers report to me. They oversee multiple cities and multiple markets, and this is what I tell them. Hey, if you're on vacation, don't worry. Go ahead and tune out, and I will lose no respect for you, and that's 100% true. However, if they're on vacation, check your email when you wake up in the morning or before you go to sleep. Same thing on your days off. In those 5 minutes, you might be able to do something that creates success for your team or for the company. While I highly encourage a good work-personal life balance, the truth is the people who are really successful don't stop after 8 hours. They don't stop on their days off, and they can still maintain that good balance. But if you're one of those people, I'm here 8 hours, 5 days a week, and that's it, you're not going to reach where you want to reach. With that being said, there may be some of you watching that have no ambition whatsoever, so maybe you will reach it. But if you are reaching for a higher level of success, I promise you, if you follow these 10 things, you're going to get there with one big caveat. You need to have patience. Our world has become a world of immediate gratification. We can find out the answer to anything instantly online. If we want something, it can be delivered to our house in a few hours. I didn't reach my level of success overnight, and for the record, I'm only half of where I want to be. I know it's going to take another 5 to 10 years minimum to get there. So many people will follow this list for 2 months or 6 months or 2 years and expect immediate payoff. It doesn't work like that. And I'll end this with a comment I've made multiple times. I have never met anyone in my life who's willing to work their ass off and isn't a moron who isn't successful. Again, they're not millionaires, but they don't have to worry about paying rent next month. You're willing to work your ass off and you're not a moron, you have a really good chance of success. But if you follow this list, you have a definite chance of success, with that one caveat of patience. As we try to grow this channel, we like to reward you guys for watching and subscribing. So because of that, every 5,000 milestone when it comes to subscribers, we give away a couple $1,000s worth of statues. We've actually given away over 20 statues. To win one was easy. First, you gotta be subscribed to the channel. You'll get bell notifications when videos drop. Each video that drops, you wanna make a comment on those videos. We pick a random video, we give away statues based on a comment. You can say whatever you want. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Totally different video today. I hope it helped you. I hope it inspired you. If it did, give it a like. And I really appreciate you guys. That was a weird transition, but I ran out of stuff to say because I gave you a lot of good shit.